Death is final.
Death is coming for our family.
Family secrets come to light, and while history cannot be changed, it can come back to haunt you.
Family. You don't get to pick the one you get. Just gotta love the one you got.
Hunting during the night, stalking during the day. Just when you think you've cheated death, it comes back with even more of a vengeance. Is it better to be saved with the shadow of death around every corner, or being taken when your time was meant to be? There is no safety. Your comforts become your nightmares. Even a simple family gathering, while sharing cocktails, jumping on trampolines, grilling hamburgers, will lead to demise. There is nothing you can trust. The stone ripple effect has begun. Fates have been sealed. Bloodlines will be ended. This is their fate. Death shall become their final destination.
Are you ready to get into the podcast now?
Yeah!
Well, tell us what you think of Bloodlines if you've seen it, or just the Final Destination franchise in general. Let's get
Tell me
started.
what's appealing about this franchise.
And if you really like us, you could subscribe.
Oh, yes.
Well, they've gotten gorier.
Really?
Like, the first one was not this gory.
It doesn't even look good, is my problem.
No, it doesn't look good, and I think that's probably, like, well, I know it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've seen some really messed up accidents and bodies stuff. It's not this. It's good that it doesn't look the same.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it looks like there's those videos in which you squeeze something and then just like obnoxiously all comes out.
Right.
That's what like half of the desk, at least 3/4 even of the desk looked like.
Yeah.
Just pools of red just coming out.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Scream.
It's unnecessary. We've talked about this before. I really do like a lot better where they're doing, Final Destination in the log truck, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing at the.
That's what I've heard.
That's the very first film. Like that sets the tone. Everybody avoids log trucks now, right?
For good reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, you get the idea of what happens. I like that better than showing the pools of blood in films. I love that so much more.
Yeah.
Just,
I agree.
You get that. You get that idea of boom, and then switches to a different scene.
You know, like in Ant-Man, the first one,
Yeah.
where the guy has that gun and he shoots people and they just become little like blobs of liquid.
Right.
That's what like when they got hit by the log truck at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what it reminded me of like just bloop.
Yeah.
It was just actual blood versus like them trying to hide blood and just making it blue goop. I don't understand this franchise.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to hear how this unfolds for you.
Scream, I understand.
Sure.
Scream is obnoxious. There's death, but there's comedy,
Right.
which makes it entertaining. This is just death and crazy people and more death.
I did really enjoy how you were more attached to the characters in this, though.
Yeah.
They really built, especially from the very beginning, they built that story of the family, which became the grandmother.
Yeah.
And then they had, who was kind of the granddaughter who was kind of taking over.
And if there's one thing we've learned from the Fast and Furious
And
franchise,
the cousins and
it's all about family.
All about family. Yeah. They don't mess around on, death doesn't mess around on this one, do they?
No.
So we had, so I wanted to look, maybe but I wanted to figure out why they've made a really big deal about Tony Todd. Tony Todd passed away.
Yep.
And he was Candyman, right?
Sure.
I think he was. Yeah, here it is, Candyman. I know. Sorry, I figured you knew knew.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
who it
because I was going to
but-
ask you about that. 'cause
Yeah,
it
yeah,
made no
yeah.
sense to me
Yeah.
why he was in this
So-
film. Like, it made him be a cameo in this. It felt like a cameo.
Right. Yep. And so I was wondering, like, is that the big deal because this was his last role? Because I've been seeing, and I try to stay away from it. You know, like, I don't want to know what a lot of other people think. Sometimes I dabble, but I want to wait till we talk about it. And so, but it just looks to me, it's just because he died. I mean, he
Which
clearly,
I guess is fine.
he, you know, Candyman, of course, was huge back in '90, whatever. And so I'm just thinking that's the thing. This was his last role.
That would make sense. I think that's all it was.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Well, that's all I can tell you. Because I have not. I may have seen the first Final Destination.
So he was. It says here that he did the devil voice in Final Destination 3. He was Mr. Bloodworth in Final Destination 2.
So he has.
So he does have
connections.
Yeah, and he was Bloodworth in Final Destination. See, I haven't seen the Final Destinations for a very long time.
Yeah. When was the last one released?
I'm not sure.
Because I don't think it was reviewed well.
5. Yeah. Talk a minute a little bit
I
more,
will.
and I'll find it.
Well, you see, there are people in this film, and they're all dead.
All of them?
I don't understand what appeals to people about that type of storytelling. And you thought they were going to survive at the end. And spoiler, they do not.
Looks like Final Destination 5, which Tony Todd was also in, I guess, was in 2011.
So it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
I was talking to, who was I talking to? Somebody about,
I know somebody.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people to be known as somebody. That they were kind of surprised this franchise came back. And I was like, to me, it's one of those cults, classic films that will get a reboot started at least every 7-8 years.
Right.
Even if it's not great.
It is great in the sense of what this film offers its audience, though.
I mean, it's straightforward.
It's very forward. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
You know what you got.
Yeah. Bald man with muscles.
Right.
Yep.
Probably going to take his shirt off at some point.
Probably.
Or get it ripped off or whatever. But at any rate, this franchise, you get what you get. It's death. It's gore now. It wasn't gore when it really started in 2000. And you get kind of a big budget feel, really, for horror type gore movie.
Yeah.
But it's not over the top weird stuff.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Local
Like,
settings. And
yeah, it.
besides, like the Seattle Tower and the.
Well, I mean, you come to my house. That's what my house is.
Well,
my grandma's house.
I am aware. Yes.
I mean,
I have to
so
buzz in.
all the
Wear protective gear.
security.
Yeah. Yeah.
The zombie apocalypse proof.
You never know.
Spikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to eventually being impaled. Good.
At any rate, you want to get into actors and what you think of how that all happened and went down, or
There were actors in the film.
there were
quite a few.
did they do chemistry stuff?
I don't think they were ever in school. But well, she came back from school.
Well, she was in a class. That's how it opened.
Oh, that's right. Could have been chemistry.
Did you fall asleep that early?
Well, this film is just disturbing. I don't know. I mean, I didn't fall asleep that early. It's weird. The first thing I remember is when they first were at the Seattle Tower.
Yeah, that's she was dreaming.
Yeah.
She woke up in class.
So see, she wasn't really doing chemistry then either.
No.
And there are not a lot of romances. So not a lot of chemistry.
There you go.
Actor chemistry. I don't know. How do you care about people where you just know they're going to die?
Well, that's what I'm saying when I was talking
I
at the
know.
beginning, though. They kind of were setting up characters that you cared about whether they lived or died.
I did care about
And you
them.
didn't expect how this was going to end. I didn't expect how this was going to end. I thought that this was the reboot.
Yeah.
And now that,
The other films, do people survive at the end?
well, sure, some, of course. But
That aren't just side characters?
good point. I don't remember.
Okay.
I never
Were
did
you-
see 5.
Did you even
I
watch
know
the
I didn't
film?
see 5. Hey, I watched this film. Shut the front door.
Shut the front door.
Or rise and shine, mother cluckers. which you can get at shinybrand.com, by the way.
Shameless plug.
But I know I didn't see 5. I saw 1, 2, and 3 for sure.
Okay.
Not positive on 4, honestly.
But
it was a long time ago.
Well,
I
here's
only
the
watched
thing.
them once.
I didn't go into much research heading into this. I saw one trailer, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I don't really know much about the Final Destination trailer or the series as a whole. Like, I did enough research to know that the Final Destination is the idea that death is the destination, and you can't cheat death. I was like, okay, sounds good. I'm gonna hate this film, but I still didn't expect everyone to die.
Right. I didn't expect that either. I really didn't expect that either.
Yeah.
Actor chemistry, then. I'm going to go.
Good.
Okay.
Go.
So, I mean, a whole bunch of unknowns. There was a few people that were familiar looking, but I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Like the one cousin that was not blood related. You know, with the piercings.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that piercing part or not yet?
It just confirmed how I feel about piercing.
In the MRI machine?
Yeah. It baffles me sometimes.
Yeah, okay, go see the film, or when it comes out, streaming or whatever, and you'll figure out.
It
the
also
MRI.
gave me fear that I could die anytime from bees.
We won't. Right. We won't go into it anymore. I don't know, but I like that. That's not on the trailer.
Well, one of the trailers that we were watching right before this had that whole scene where he was like, the tattooing himself, and then lead to like his nose ring getting stuck to the fan.
Sure.
The MRI.
The MRI. That's not it. I mean.
The MRI was fine, I guess. The tension.
We found out where he had piercings under his clothing.
Yeah. Were you surprised?
No, but it was still like, ugh.
Yeah.
So he's recognizable, right?
Yes.
He's, whatever. He's
nipples.
Recognizable. Moving on.
But you're right. There's not a lot of name brand actors.
Right, which I do really enjoy most of the time.
Yeah.
And I did hear as well.
Yeah.
They're going to put everything they can into it. They're going to try to, do some sort of performance that they're going to be seen.
Yeah.
And they did that, I thought.
Yeah, they did.
Now, there were times, though, that they didn't work together very well.
No.
But when they were doing some of their thing, some of the timing seemed off to me, and some of that when they were doing the larger.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The bigger group was somewhere where some of the chemistry died, but when you kept it to the smaller 2-3 groups, they understood. They could understand one or two relationships that were focused to them, but they didn't seem able to focus on the big relation, like the overall relationship of the group.
Family.
The family.
And so, I'm going to give it a 3.7.
Yeah. She was good. I should have looked at actually the names of these actors.
Kaitlyn Santa Juana.
Juana what?
Exactly.
Oh, bad joke alert. I liked her. I did like the tattoo actor. It seemed like he did really.
Richard Harmon.
Richard Harmon.
Yeah, he's been in stuff.
Yeah. You're such good podcasters of like, yep, I know somebody.
Oh, I know where I've seen him.
That
the 100
actor has been
the
in
100.
Things. Oh, it's a TV show.
Yeah, the 100 was really good when it came out for the first 2 seasons, probably.
That's what I heard.
And then it kind of died off, so I never really followed it. I'd love to watch that again, honestly.
It's like Heroes. The first season was great, and then they didn't.
First 2, wasn't it?
Second season was good. The first season was great.
Yeah, the first season was great.
Second season was good, and then third season. Yeah. So, Kaitlyn's brother, Charlie, or Teo, I didn't know how I felt about him.
Yeah, he was probably, I'd say, at the bottom
of
the whole, whatever you want.
The whole list.
The whole kind of like how he did and didn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, he says he's known for Ratchet, Wind River, Lethal Weapon TV series. He was in 1 episode, so just not a lot.
No.
He's young, obviously.
He's younger too, so.
Chucky TV series, I guess he was in a couple of
Obviously, it's
episodes.
the horror genre at least, or thriller or whatever.
Right,
This is
yeah,
horror, but I liked how they personified death.
Yeah.
Like you could always see it coming, like the windmills and stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
that as a character was interesting to me in this movie. The grandma character, good. I give it 3/4.
Okay. See, I'm giving it that high mainly because it
Of
is
newer.
the genre
Yeah,
and they're newer actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
is fair.
I mean, you can't compare them to Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
But even more so Lilo and Stitch.
Mainly like Stitch.
Yeah. I told my wife we might actually do a double header, which we have not done in a long time. For
Yeah.
films.
That's pretty wild to
Yeah.
do those double headers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we decided that you would want to watch Mission Impossible first, and then
Really?
yeah, I always like ending comedy. Action, like if you just got done with comedy or now in like your third hour of watching a film, even if it's good, if you're not enticed to it, like it could be hard to focus.
Yes.
Versus comedy, if you get like one-liners, like oh, I'm engaged.
Yeah.
That's my thought process.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's good.
I gave it, so we're
Yeah.
good.
Cinematography. I'm gonna keep this really short for my perspective. They did a fair job on the CGI stuff that they did. It wasn't gross. It wasn't over the top.
What was the budget?
And the real locations, while you could clearly see some of them were sets or understood they were sets, not see, it was still very good.
Yeah.
I mean, for what they were working with. And so I'm actually going to give this a 3.7 also.
Okay. The tower building did not look good. Like the Seattle Tower. I call it the Seattle Tower. 'Cause I'm assuming that's
right.
where they got their inspiration from.
Yeah.
That looked awful.
Well, the reason I'm going with awful because it was a dream. They kind of wanted it to be a little bit.
True. It was a dream, but was it fully a dream? At some points.
It was a vision of hers.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, but that was my initial thought right when she woke up in the class. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They kind of did it like
Half-hazed.
a little
Off. I still wish they would have made it look a little bit better.
No, that makes sense. I get it. That my justification is the dream.
I was also not a huge fan, and not just because it was blood, but I didn't like how they did a lot of the blood stuff.
I agree.
In it. So that also was not great. But like you said, the onset, like the family gathering, the grandma's location, like all that stuff.
Yeah, the
RV,
the cemetery.
Yeah,
some
all
of
that
those
stuff was really interesting and looked good. So I give it 3.5.
Now you go first for overall entertainment.
I truly do not understand this franchise.
The franchise or this kind of genre?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, they're kind of tied together. Genres, thriller, I still don't fully understand. But at least typically in these, I'll just say franchise. I don't understand how you watch films knowing that everyone's going to die at the end.
I think
And
that
maybe
there's,
you didn't know everyone was going to die.
I think that because of hope. I think that because you hope that they're going to figure it out, and because for decades the grandmother survived and then made the choice so that the truth could be seen to not die of cancer. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But she made the choice to demonstrate how death gets you.
Which makes sense.
And so that's, to me, that's again justification, but that's to me like why.
Yeah.
Some of these are as good as they are. Like, oh, this guy's they're setting it up to survive, and I really like him, and then oops.
The one scene was kind of funny when she was predicting the kids playing soccer.
Oh yeah.
The guy blowing his leaves, hitting the soccer, and then getting into it, and then dying. That was entertaining.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah. This is where I think I like the Scream franchise better, where it knows what it is. And I think this movie knows what it is, too.
Yeah.
It's just a different form of knowing. But they make fun of it to an extent where it's just kind of entertaining and funny. Where this is just like, all right, his head's going to get run over by a lawnmower. Great.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
It's amusing with how
It's amusing because
crazy it is.
Because it's so crazy.
But I don't think this film, like, I don't think that made sense in the full context of this film.
Oh, I think it totally did. The
Potentially.
whole chain reaction, the whole
Yeah, the chain reaction made sense.
You know, the dominoes.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was just a little too much.
Sure.
In my mind.
Because they set they set the glass up, right? Like
Yeah,
someone's gonna swallow the glass. Then it was a bug, and then he steps and ends up stepping on the glass.
Yeah, 'cause it was actually in somebody else's glass.
Right. And so that's the whole.
The domino.
I think that's what's kind of also entertaining about it for me
is the twist in terms of you don't actually fully know.
Right.
The trampoline, you thought they were gonna like step on the rake.
Right. But then the rake was moved.
Yeah.
And
then it just ripped and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rake ended up being, what got him.
Yeah. As all good rakes do. I get it, but I don't. I know personally I'll never be entertained by these types. Fully entertained. So that's where it was like a 2.5.
Yeah.
I watched it. I wasn't squirming the whole time. Like this, when he was falling off and he just bashes his head.
Yeah. Did you, however, and before I get into it, did you boo or cheer the kid in piano scene? And I'll leave it at that.
Oh, when he got
the very beginning of the film.
I cheered.
Did you cheer?
Yeah. You deserved it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And normally for kids, I'm like,
it's a hard pass.
That's a very hard pass.
They did a good job.
But they really did a good job with that. And so it's stuff like that for me. The reason I ask that is because it's stuff like that for me that it's kind of like, that's funny.
Right. Final Destination strikes again.
Right. Will I rush to see it again? No.
Yeah.
Will I watch it again someday? Probably.
Yeah.
It does sort of not inspire me, but if I'm looking at it and get bored, I'm going to watch the other 5. So
if you give a mouse a cookie. If I'm watching one, might as well watch all 5.
Because it's been so long, and I just don't remember. I've only seen them once, so which works for them, right?
It does.
This
is like the franchise. You can see it maybe twice.
Yeah.
But once how people like the thrill is to figure out how people die.
Yeah. Exactly. And so because it's been 25 years since I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I really hardly remember.
Yeah.
So that's for me what is fun about it. But with that said, the overall entertainment, it is not a turn around and go to again movie.
Yeah.
And so it always scores lower for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do another 3.7 like I did the first 2. I did 3.7 on actor chemistry.
Oh yeah. I see.
Cinematography.
Now I'm on.
I'm going to bounce it way down to 3.0.
Okay.
For overall entertainment because it's a one-off.
Yeah.
That's about it for me.
Yeah.
20 years from now, sure.
And then we'll get to make fun. This is a movie where you're going to make fun of the graphic.
Oh yeah.
This to me reminds me of like a 90s film where it kind of holds up now.
Totally agree with that.
$1,000,000%
agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And it's so simple, which is why they generally will hold up and do well.
Right.
In that period of time.
Yeah.
Totally. That's it.
That's it
for me. What do you got?
I got nothing. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So there we go. Again, hey, if we deserve a back up. If we deserve a subscribe
as a death,
please do so.
But
otherwise, describe is what I was. 2 things going on in my brain at once, which obviously doesn't work. Describe what you thought of Bloodlines in the comments. We'd appreciate it. See you next time. Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.